Hey, welcome back, my amazing students. This is the Python mentor here, helping you master Python step by step. Hey guys, so on this lecture here, we're gonna take a look at another design pattern called the strategy pattern. Very, very cool pattern here because it's going to allow us to define a family of algorithms or behaviors, right? In simpler words, it's going to allow us to change how something works without changing what's actually being done. And of course, that's a little bit complicated to understand, but let's write some code and I will explain it as we dive deeper into this, all right? So we first have this payment strategy. This is going to be our interface, our base class, okay? Now, if you see something that you don't understand here, like the not implementing error here, this is just a built-in Python exception, all right? Basically, it's used as a placeholder, all right? It's telling basically us, right, that this must be implemented later, either by a subclass or by us, right? Or, the developer in this case. If someone calls that method without overriding it, Python is going to raise an error immediately, all right? Basically, that's what that is about. Anyway, so let's go ahead and create these subclasses here. And I'm gonna create one called credit card payment, just like that, payment. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to inject this guy into this one, boom, all right? And they're gonna be very simple, don't worry, I'm not gonna write a bunch of things here. They're all gonna do the same thing. We're gonna use them to pay, right? So let's go ahead and close this out. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna paste this one as well here. And let me see something here. Indented block, all right, what? Let me just print something here. So that way we can just say pass here. Let's just print something here. And I'm gonna print this one. Well, this one are both the same. So let's just start with this one on top here before. I was gonna put pass there, but it's better to put something here so that way we can see it in the console. Paid using credit card, all right? And this one is going to be PayPal, just like that. Okay, PayPal payment. All right, and paid with PayPal, just like that. Okay, boom. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create the context class. This is a class that can use any of these classes, any strategy. So this one here, I'm gonna call the payment processor, just like that. Hopefully I'm spelling this correctly, okay? All righty. I'm going to initialize this one. So, and this one here will have self is going to have a strategy. And let's go ahead, the strategy, we're gonna make sure that its type is payment strategy. Well, payment strategy, just like that, okay? And now let's do the strategy here. Let's take that in and build this attribute, right? Just like this, boom, okay? Let's go ahead and create a method here to process the payment. So process payment, all right. And of course, we're gonna take the self and the amount here. All right, let's print something real quick here just to show that this is processing payment, okay? And here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that strategy, pay method, and I'm gonna put in the amount that we're gonna get, okay? Simple as that, all right. So now here, what I can do is, since we have sorry about that. Since we have a credit card, let's say right now, we want to make a payment using a credit card, right? So I'll grab here, let me put a variable here so we can use this later and print it out, do whatever we want with it, or use the method, right? So let's do credit card. And let's go ahead and call the payment processor here. And what we can do now is that we can pass in this credit card payment. Boom. Okay? Once we pass that to the processor, then we can go ahead and use this to process a payment, let's say, of a $200. Okay? So now, if we, for some reason in our application, right, we have other strategies or other method forms of payment, we could just swap it here if we want to use a different one, right? So if we wanted to use PayPal, I'll just go ahead and copy this real quick, right? And do PayPal. And we pass in the PayPal payment right here. Let me just do that from the beginning here, just in case I misspelled it or something there. There we go. Okay, and we'll just process that payment for PayPal. Let's say $400. Okay, you can call this whatever you want. Okay, but you get my point here, right? What else? We got a credit card. We only got 2 of them, but we can have many different ones. We can have Bitcoins, right? So, did you get my point here with the strategy, with this strategy pattern here, right? We have a base class that we use for the payment strategy, right? We say, hey, listen, you need to apply to implement this pay method. So we use this as an interface. We are setting up the rules here, all right? Everybody in this program here, in this software, needs to use this pay method. Why? Because, of course, here, look, we are injecting this class. This is the base class. We're injecting it, right? And if we don't use this guy here, it's going to raise a error. So all of them have to use the pay method, okay? And you can see now that we are using different payment scenarios here. In this case, we're paying with a credit card. In this case, we're paying with a PayPal payment, all right? So we are defining a family of behaviors, all right? We're putting each of them in its own class, and then we are swapping them at runtime, right? And this doesn't need to be like this. This could be if statement saying, listen, if the user allows for credit card payments, then we use this. If the user doesn't allow for credit card payments and uses maybe PayPal, then we use this. So we can do whatever we want once we have it in runtime available to us like this. So the strategy pattern is super useful to do things like this. Now, if we didn't have this, we would have to use a bunch of if statements, right? We would have to say, if PayPal, then use this. If credit card, then use this. But this is actually a lot better, right? We have their own classes, right? So what I could do is I can go out there right now. If I wanted to make a web application, I can go and get the API for PayPal and put the logic inside this class right here, all right? And then use it right here. And if I had, let's say, Stripe for the credit card payment processor, then what I could do is I could put the logic right here and then use it right here, right? Or some of the logic right here as well, depending on how the API actually is, right? And the API, I'm talking about the code that the company, Stripe or PayPal, is gonna give us as developers so we can implement in our applications. All right, guys? So this is the strategy pattern, nothing biggie, not too big, not too small, just intermediate knowledge here. But one thing is for sure here, you're learning a lot of cool Python stuff, and I need a like on this video, and I need you to subscribe if you haven't, all right? Because we're gonna be learning a lot more things. And just all you have to remember is take it step by step, all right? Even if it takes you 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year to master Python, it's okay. Once you master it, nothing in your life will never be the same. It will never. You will always have blessings all over the place because Python is the language for you to learn. It's the #1 language. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm here to help you guys out, and I'll see you guys on the next lecture. Don't forget to like the video.